Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by Espolón Tequila. Slow, sticky, snoozy. They call these the dog days of summer. But Espolón? They don't do boring. Welcome to the Marg Days. Espolón Tequila. 100% blue Weber agave, born to shake up your summer. Just add lime, agave, and a little attitude. Visit EspolónTequila.com. Espolón Tequila, 40% alcohol, volume 80 proof. Copyright 2025, Campari America, New York, New York. Drink responsibly.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Such a great song. Hot girls in that video, right? Pump it up. ZZ Top. The girls in this video were Playboy models. They were in the dressing room. Hot stuff. Let's face it, ZZ Top, those guys were not conventionally handsome. They had those crazy beards. But boy, great hits. I saw them live once in, where the hell was I? Montgomery, Alabama. We love ZZ Top. Damn. Music from the 80s was so kick-ass. You know what Paul McCartney said? We basically run out of music. There's only so many things you can do with the notes that we have. And he's basically saying that we have essentially done everything there is to do with the notes. Isn't that crazy? I wonder if we'll ever get that way in literature. Probably not. There are a lot more letters than notes. Or maybe, I don't know. Kind of interesting to consider. Oh, now I know why I'm in the news. Now I know why I'm trending all over again. I was like, what the hell's going on? Why am I getting these texts? Why is my name on Google Alerts? And I couldn't figure it out. Now I know why. It's kind of funny. And it's kind of true. So it was a few days ago, actually about 10 days ago. You may remember that everybody lost their minds when President Trump renamed the Kennedy Center, right? It was the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. And then they changed it. It is now the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. The Kennedy Center is now the Trump Kennedy Center. How could he do such a thing? This is so horrible. This is the worst thing in the world. You know, this show's on in the afternoon, and I got some videos that I do later at night, and I'm like, okay, everybody's upset about this. And of course, conservatives are pushing back, but they're not pushing back all that creatively. It's just not that interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like and actually a lot of them are not pushing back. A lot of them secretly don't like President Trump, and they think this was garish, this was rude, this was whatever. So I'm kind of figuring, okay, what am I going to do here? What's my take on all this? And I think back to Rush Limbaugh. You know, Rush is amazing in so many ways. I would wonder to myself, okay, this seems to be pretty bad for the Republicans. I'm talking in the 90s. How is Rush going to explain this one? Now he's going to be really screwed. Now he can't explain. And he would have a perfect, logical, beautiful, and entertaining explanation and show how he was right and his side was right and everybody else was wrong. It was fascinating to me. It really was like a very interesting intellectual exercise. So you will remember that what happened, President Trump renamed the center. And I'm like, okay, well, what's my take going to be on this thing? What am I going to say about it? And I thought, well, let's see here. He put his name on it, and now it's the Donald Trump John F. Kennedy Center. There's just something wrong with that. There's absolutely something fundamentally wrong with that. Now, I figured it out. It's not that President Trump put his name there. It's that John F. Kennedy's name is still there. John F. Kennedy shouldn't be on that. That guy should have been Me Too'd. That guy is not a legend. That guy was a predator. He was an absolute predator. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Marilyn Monroe, that was a consenting adult. No, I'm not talking about Marilyn Monroe. I'm not talking about Judith Exner. I am talking about a guy who was so busy, quite frankly, having sex that it was obviously getting in the way of his job. He was obviously giving blackmail material for the Russians. It was altogether a bad scene. But then a woman stepped forward about 15 years ago. Her name was Mimi Alford. Oh, you do? Oh, perfect. Mimi Alford interned at the White House in 1962 or so, right? She was 19 years old. Her first day at the White House, John F. Kennedy sees her. Hey, Bobby, check out the legs on that dame. I'm going to take her up to the residence for a tour. Do you think I can do it? Of course you can. Of course you can. You're the president. You can do whatever you want. Does that sound like Bobby a little bit? Bobby always seemed a little bit effeminate to me. I know you think I sound like Mayor Quimby from The Simpsons, but well, who do you think they're trying to imitate? Quimby is imitating Kennedy. Would you like a tour of the West Wing and perhaps the nuclear missile arsenal? If you get my drift. Well, she didn't get the drift. Poor Mimi Alford, though. Let's listen to the situation she found herself in.
The president came over to me and asked me if I'd like to take a tour of the second floor of the White House. The last room that we went into was a bedroom.
It was Jackie Kennedy's bedroom.
I learned later that it was Mrs. Kennedy's bedroom. It was blue, pale blue, I remember. I felt the president getting closer and closer to me. Looked me right in the eyes, and I actually, he then put his hands on my shoulders and sort of guided me down to the edge of the bed, sort of the corner of the bed. And I think he may have even said to me, "Is this all right? Are you okay? Is this okay?" I don't really think I knew what he was talking about. What I felt was, is what okay? I didn't really know what was about to happen. And then what did happen was I lost my virginity right there. I think I went a little bit into shock.
I don't blame you, Mimi. That would be kind of crazy. The president of the United States on Mrs. Kennedy's bed. Is this all right with you? Most girls jump at the chance. I see you are a little reluctant. Well, it wasn't over then, right? It still got, it was pretty intense. What else here? Go ahead, please. Next clip.
He had been guilty of an unforgivable episode at the White House pool during one of our noonday swims at the end of the summer. Dave Powers was sitting poolside while the president and I swam lazy circles around each other. The president swam over and whispered in my ear. "Mr. Powers looks a little tense," he said. "Would you take care of it?" It was a dare, but I knew exactly what he meant. Take care of it? That was a challenge to give Dave Powers oral sex. I don't think the president thought I'd do it, but I'm ashamed to say that I did. It was pathetic, a sordid scene. Dave was jolly and obedient as I stood in the shallow end of the pool and performed my duties. The president silently watched.
That's pretty creepy of the president to just sit there and watch, right? What the hell's going on in his head? Who the hell's Dave Powers anyway? Dave Powers was one of those Kennedy man, right? Very loyal. Well, that's pretty sick stuff. And look, men are men. I know men can be pigs, right? We're not supposed to be. especially when you're the president of the United States and it's 1962, for crying out loud. You know what this gave rise to? Ultimately, Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Wow, if he could do that, watch me. It damaged a lot of people. So we should take the name Kennedy off the airport, off the high school, off the center. I'm not for canceling people, but I think to some degree, he doesn't have to be canceled, but he doesn't have to be running reruns all the time like he is. I think it's a little bit much, don't you? Is that mean? No, it's not mean. It's real. It's real. They say President Trump is he's the most powerful man in the world. Everything he does, they say, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's against. No, it's not. You want to hear something that's against the Constitution? It's actually very local. We have a new thing here in New York City called COPA, the COPA law, COPA. I've been looking at it all morning. This is a new law that if you want to sell a multifamily house, you got to tell the city, and the city has 6 months to decide whether or not they want to buy it. It's what? If you want to sell something, if you're a private citizen and you own private property, you can sell that private property to somebody else for the right price. You don't have to give the city first dibs. You got a willing customer. You don't have to check in with the city, but now you do on this new funky law. Vicky Palladino, who I hope will be the next mayor of New York City, is an amazing woman, Republican from Queens, salt of the earth. Here she is in the city council saying, what the hell are you guys doing? Just what in the hell do you think you guys are doing here? Vicky Palladino, this is, I believe, yesterday. Go ahead.
Just talking about now COPA. How wrong can a person be or a body of a government be when we start to take the individual rights away from the homeowner, whether it's a 2-family house, 3-family house, 4-family house, what does it matter? The fact is the person owns the home. They have the right to sell the home to whomever they please. The idea that we have to consult with the building department and give a 6-month period of time for someone else to make an offer is absolutely outrageous. And to say it's government overreach is 100% true. This is absolutely maniacal. I do not understand how this body works when it comes to individual citizens of this city. This is overreach at its very best. I'm a homeowner, and no one is going to tell me or anybody else I know that's worked so damn hard to own a 3 or a 4-family home that I have to submit the ability to sell my house first to the building department and then offer it up to a non-for-profit when my neighbor across the street may want to buy it. And they have to wait 6 months? Nonsense. This is absolutely ridiculous. And also I want to just add to this hearing today, this meeting today, that is absolutely ridiculous. And everybody in this room should be terribly embarrassed that we stripped our veterans' bills today from today's hearings. Why? Why? When the men and women of this country deserve better treatment, and our city today that we passed in committee has failed to come through for our veterans, stripped it totally off the record for today. Absolutely ridiculous. Thank you very much, and shameful. Shame, shame on all of you.
She's absolutely right. I got it right here. The law amends the administrative code of the city of New York in relation to giving qualified entities a first opportunity to submit a statement of interest and a first opportunity to purchase certain properties. This bill gives certain non-for-profits or joint ventures between non-for-profits and other entities, as certified by the Department of Housing, Preservation, and Development, a first opportunity to submit a statement of interest, purchasing, first opportunity, blah, 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 certain residential properties when offered for sale. The bill would require owners of subject properties to notify HPD and qualified entities when they intend to take action to sell such properties. Qualified entities would have 25 days to submit a statement of interest in purchasing the property and 80 days to submit a first offer to purchase the property. Qualified entities, what if a willing, and able citizen is ready to do it day one? Qualified entities would also have a right of first refusal if an owner receives an offer from a person other than a qualified entity. Go to hell. And you can say, well, I see. So this is only multifamily home. It doesn't really apply to that many. You know what? The cat will be out of the bag. This is government overreach at its worst. At its worst. And we give them this. Watch out. Watch out. And Mamdani isn't even mayor yet, and they're doing this crap.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Here's to quitting. Quitting the couch for a quick run. Quitting the snooze button for a morning workout. Quitting giving up after 2 weeks. You see, staying committed to your fitness goals isn't easy. But with Apple Watch, you don't have to do it alone. Because Apple Watch gives you real-time motivation, plus advanced metrics that track all your workouts, so you can stick to your New Year's fitness resolutions. And once and for all, quit quitting with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Is this the Bay City Rollers? What the hell is this? They only have 2 good songs, and it's not this. 38 Special is one of those bands. Yeah, there you go. Hold on loosely, right? They had 2 drummers in this band. Totally unnecessary. Straight out of Jacksonville, Florida. Man, these guys are awesome. Well, twice. Sorry. I know they have a lot of other great songs, but we don't have the time that we used to have, right, to listen to this stuff. Where is that? Ah, yes. So last night, I'm looking through it. I don't know why this is on my mind so much, but it is, and it makes me mad, and I was reading it, and I got even angrier. This whole thing with Rudy Giuliani losing his law license in New York State. It is such a crime what they did. I'm going to find out who the referee was. I know who some of the nasty people were who brought this. Let's see here. Who do we have here? The attorney for the grievance committee, right? The grievance committee. Brad Hoylman Siegel, that jerk. Also, Diane Renwick, wherever the hell you are. Sally Daniels, Troy Weber, Cynthia Kern, Anil Singh. You guys are corrupt. You guys are thoroughly and totally corrupt. In the matter of Rudy Giuliani, a suspended attorney. And they go on and on and on, criticizing stuff that Rudy Giuliani said in 2020, in November and December of 2020. You're allowed to say stuff in America. You are allowed to say stuff. And look, Rudy Giuliani believes that the election was stolen. And that's not a illegal belief. They tried to illegalize that. And Rudy Giuliani would allege that a lot of dead people voted in the election. And then they're like, well, where was the evidence of that? And that sounds like a legit question, right? Well, where's the evidence? Well, you know, the evidence is discovered during a phase called discovery. And they never let any of these cases go forward. Oh, 63 judges said there was no merit. No, they don't operate that way. 63 judges said, you don't have standing to bring this case. You know, you're just a lawyer. Are you with the Trump campaign? What is your role here? They didn't hear the cases because of technicalities. And I'm looking through this gosh damn thing, and the attorney for the grievance committee, whoever the hell that is like, I looked at the chart that Rudy Giuliani used, and it is inaccurate with the conclusions he was drawing. This is so far outside of what the grievance committee is supposed to be worried about. You can say things in America. Any attorney who ever said, you know, my client is innocent. My client did not do it. Well, what if a jury says, okay, he did do it? Are you supposed to get rid of the lawyer? Well, he lied. A jury. No, you can say these things. You can actually say things. You can say your belief. And they use all kinds of crazy language in here, like, you know, his comments were detrimental to our democracy. I have never heard America, democracy, right? Democracy. No, we're a constitutional republic. As our friend Barbara pointed out, what is a democracy? It's 3 foxes and a sheep, 3 foxes and a lamb deciding what's for dinner. The lamb is always going to lose. Democracy. Our founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, realized the people are great, but the people actually need to be, in a way, not controlled, but there have to be parameters. And certain rights have to be inalienable, like the right to free speech. How about a trial with a jury and all that stuff? That's in there, too. I go through this nonsense. The AGC's analysis of the charts indicate they related to the entire state of Pennsylvania, and the information specifics to Philadelphia had to be extrapolated from the charts. Based on its analysis, the grievance committee estimated that there were somewhere between 50 and 130, but closer to 50 graveyard votes are found using the charts. Respondent did not challenge the grievance committee's methodology or conclusion. However, he maintained that his statement was not intentionally or knowingly false. Rather, his reliance on the information that he was given was justified, and at most, he was arguably negligent. Now, the worst part here is, you know, the system has been so corrupted that Rudy Giuliani, the hero that he is, he's the one who looks like the crazy person. And, you know, well, after all, he drinks, you know. No, he doesn't drink. Another fake news. Yes, did his eyes bulge out of his head when everybody on CNN was getting everything wrong? Yep. This thing is a crime. I have the proceedings, the report of the referee. It's 31 pages long. Here, how about this? The referee cited an extensive, detailed study conducted by the grievance committee, as well as a search done by respondent, which showed that between 2013 and 2022, there were a total of 14 fraud convictions in Philadelphia. Respondent defended characterization of widespread voter fraud in Philadelphia by comparing this number to the number of voter fraud convictions in New York City for the same period, asserting in his post-hearing memorandum that New York City had only one such conviction during the relevant period. The referee, however, found that respondent's comparison was immaterial, while respondent produced a 2-page exhibit listing various articles and a website which discussed the history of voter fraud in Philadelphia. He never produced any of the listed materials, and the grievance committee showed the irrelevance of each item in its post-hearing memorandum. Further, nowhere did respondent assert that he had read or knew of the contents of any of the proffered materials before he made his statements about voter fraud in Philadelphia. Thus, the referee found that respondent's statements were not mere exaggerations, but falsehoods designed to deceive his listeners. Now, you are allowed to allege And generally speaking, allegations come before the discovery of evidence. If let's say I loaned you my car, okay? And you take it for 2 days, and I ask you to put it in the garage next to my, put it in the garage where I live. And then 2 days goes by, and I go out to the car, and the car is totally trashed. It's banged up inside and out, right? I'm going to hire first I'll tell you, and let's say I can't get you on the phone or you deny everything. And let's say there's a lot of public interest in this. I'm going to hire a lawyer, and the lawyer might just come out and say, Greg Kelly, in good faith, donated his car to a friend, and the friend banged it up. The friend got into multiple car accidents, and we will prove this in court. Okay, where's the evidence? We will submit the evidence in court. We don't have it yet. That's going to be the discovery. And what are we going to do? We're going to look at street cameras. We're going to look at the parking garage security tape. We're going to get all the evidence. Now, I have a strong hunch that this happened. I mean, yes, is it technically possible that one of the parking garage parking attendants took the car out for a joyride like they did in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Remember? They parked the car so they could go to, what was it, the Chez Paul restaurant? The Sausage King of Chicago? What was that restaurant they went to? It wasn't Chez Paul.
Abe Froman.
Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. They had a great day off, those guys, those crazy kids. Rooney, you're a jerk. All right, so I have to get the evidence, and that's a process. They never let Rudy Giuliani, he never had subpoena power. And he should have. He could have proved his case. They stopped it before he could advance it. They stopped it before he could prove it. You understand how unjust this is to Rudy? And it goes on and on and on like this. It's like some producer at CNN wrote this disbarment ruling. Now, here's the piece of resistance, and it's in this damn thing. Where is it? It's at the end here. They cite other disbarment proceedings and other disbarment decisions to prove that what they're doing to Rudy Giuliani, based on all these allegedly false statements, is somehow justified. And they kept naming all of these cases. And I said, you know what? Something's wrong. And I looked up all of the cases that they mentioned. And I'm going to go through them. Right? It's fascinating to me. This one guy was disbarred. And they say, you see, he was disbarred for false statements. No. The matter of Zappin, an attorney who was disbarred in 2018 because of false statements. But they leave something out. I found the other thing. Founding respondent guilty of misconduct and referring the matter to referee solely, considering therefore appropriate committee's son, 2-year-old son. Here's what he did. That the disbarred attorney, the guy that they actually disbarred, this is in the ruling, had repeatedly penetrated or perpetrated acts of domestic violence against his wife, had testified falsely at a custody trial. Now, that's different. Rudy never got to trial, right? Had knowingly introduced false evidence during the proceedings in the form of altered text messages. Altered text messages. You can prove whether something is altered like that. You can prove whether or not somebody beat his wife. That's why that guy was disbarred. Rudy Giuliani said things at press conferences and said things in political forums at state capitals. You're allowed to do that stuff. The other thing they cite, that was the matter of Zappin, and then there's the matter of Zweig, another disbarred attorney. Let's see here. On September 19, 2017, the respondent, Zweig, pleaded guilty in the United States District Court of the Northern District of California to obstruction of justice and perjury. The guy pled guilty. Respondent's conviction stemmed from his role in creating and transmitting the false court documents for his friend, whose company, a pet retail store, had commenced a federal breach of contract against a pet food manufacturer. In that action, the chain claimed to have leased a New York, blah, 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 blah. The guy pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice and perjury. And then he got disbarred. He was convicted of something. Rudy Giuliani said things in press conferences, and you are allowed to. I got another one here. In the matter of, let's see, what the hell is this one? These lying bastards. I'm sorry. In the matter of Fagan, who was admitted to the bar in 1980, disbarred knowing misappropriation of client and escrow trust funds involving dishonesty, fraud, deceit, and misrepresentation. He stole from his client. That's why he got disbarred. So we have domestic violence. We have conviction of perjury. We have stealing from a client. These are the cases that they're citing to justify what they did to Rudy Giuliani, who did none of those things. That's why you get disbarred. Serious crimes. Stealing from a client. There's another one here. I can't believe it. And how did they get away with it? Well, unfortunately, conservative media, reading all this stuff takes too much effort. It takes too much time, right? And even if we do, who the hell are we going to tell? What are we going to do about it? Right? The New York Times, they are the ones who move the needle on this kind of crap. And the New York Times, they quoted a lawyer. Oh, this is so sad, but richly deserved. And they just called the guy a Columbia University law professor who used to work in Rudy Giuliani's office. A guy named Daniel Richman. That's how they present him. Oh, this is so sad and so deserved. Rudy Giuliani deserves it. I had to look into who Daniel Richman is, the Columbia University president who disseminated classified information for James Comey. This isn't some innocent bystander. This is a vicious partisan. And this is the guy they go to. And they don't make any of the, right? They don't say any of this. We used to have great newspapers that would help defend. Now it's on me and you. We're going to get Rudy Giuliani's law license back. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe I'll hire that protester guy. You could hire protesters to go to these people's houses. Something has got to be done. Maybe we need, I don't know what the hell we need, but this injustice cannot stand. And there are a lot of injustices out there we got to fight. There are all kinds of, here, the matter of Friedman. What's this thing? Said suspension remains in full effect based on substantiated allegations that he had knowingly misappropriated client funds. You don't get disbarred for holding political views that Democrats don't like. They got away with it because of the madness that so many were afflicted with, Trump derangement syndrome and that farce January 6th. So if it's the last thing I do, we got to do this. We got to do it for Rudy, America's mayor. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yeah! Now this is the 38 special song. Little girl. I remember hearing this as a little kid and being surprised that he was so into the little girl. Like, I took it quite literally. Anyway, I don't understand why this band has two drummers. The drumming doesn't sound that elaborate to me. See what I mean? I could do that. His brother what?
It's because they played a lot of songs that were similar to Leonard Skinner, which required two drummers.
Leonard Skinner. Hold on. So hot. The video is very foolish. They shot it in some like redneck bar, and it's all about, I don't know, the hot blonde, and I don't know. Who cares? Great music. I don't care about the video. Although it's kind of true, for a while, video really did screw up music, because It became all about what artists look like, and it became very much about, instead of remembering a song and where you were when you heard it, you remember the video. Like everything I just thought of was that stupid video and the girl with the key in the hotel room and the guy drinking the beer and falling off the stool. Stupid. Why can't I develop my own memories for that? You know, because that's MTV's fault. Hey, listen to this guy. He is the former Somali prime minister, and he's got something to say about the Somali people who live in Minnesota. You ready for this? Hit it.
قضية إلهان معها قضية إلهان معها قضية مينيسوتا معها قضية غير مريكان قضية إلهان وقضية صوماليا.
Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy saying that? What, you don't know Somali? Come on, you know a little bit of Somali. You can almost hear. All right, I'll tell you what he actually said here. The interests of Ilhan Omar are not Elon's. It is not the interest of Minnesota, nor is it the interest of the American people. The interest of Elon is that of the Somalian people in Somalia. And the crowd goes wild. We had it checked. That's what the guy said. Not all, but a lot of refugees don't want to assimilate, don't want to become one of us. And what is one of us? Yeah, you got to assimilate. Remember, it used to be a beautiful thing. The melting pot. We all come together. We all become Americans, not her with that ridiculous hijab. And now all of these phony no-show daycare centers. Is that wild or what? And Tim Walz basically admitted as much, that when it comes to regulating childcare, you would think that that's something you really got to keep an eye on. No, let's just throw money at it and green light it. This is the debate that he got creamed in, by the way, by Vance. And let's see here. Cut, J.D. Vance. Give me the Mario cut. This is in the fall of 2024, the vice presidential debate. Tim Walz saying the quiet part out loud. Go ahead.
Or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want. Or go to the business.
Wow, he seems like kind of emphatic and nervous about it, right? We're going to make it easier for them to get paid. There's certain things that are supposed to be a pain in the neck, certain things that are supposed to involve a hell of a lot of red tape to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, sometimes that can be wasteful in and of itself, the red tape. I'm not a big fan of government red tape. However, if I want to open a daycare center for children where I'm going to get state, local, and federal money, I would imagine that would be one great big pain in the neck. But it wasn't. These things, some of them were approved overnight. Now, why was that done? You guys know who Keith Ellison is? Go to the Wall Street Apes if you don't mind. Keith Ellison is the Attorney General of Minnesota, known for, slapping around his girlfriend. And you got the other guy. The guy's, why is it that the Somali community, quote unquote, is so big in Minnesota? Right? Why Minnesota? I mean, talk about a place that doesn't have much in common with Somalia. All right? Hit it, please. Yes, no?
Can you tell us why the Somali communities are very important for the election?
Well, the Somali community is critical. In my own election, I wouldn't be in office without the help of the Somali community. Okay. Somali voters came out in very large numbers and were able to register people to vote. Very recently I think there was several thousand Somalis who were just naturalized as U.S. citizens. Yeah. Somalis can make a huge impact on this election. And I can tell you without a doubt, it's not just in Minnesota that Somalis make a big difference in the election. Also in Ohio, which is a battleground state. Somalis that are in Columbus, Ohio, and in Virginia, all have a role, an opportunity to play a very big role in this election. And so I think many of us are counting on the Somali community to get involved, stay involved, but not just vote. Help others vote.
All right, there
On my
you go.
campaign-
That's a guy, Keith Ellison. We want you to vote. We want them to vote for Democrats. Right there. That's why they're here. But mass deportations are imminent. We'll be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.